Perfect. So we like to move it, and we took upon the challenge to expose ourselves to different dances every week or different dance styles, which was incredibly embarrassing, but also incredibly fun. Yes, and you can move to the next slide, please. So our creed and core values basically changed a bit, because when we started, we only thought we want to do something fun, because we thought if we have fun, then our audience will have fun and we will increase through this value proposition basically, and didn't think about much more. But once we've done, I think, the first video, we realized that there's a lot more in it. So we defined our creed and core values as courage, grow, connect, and fun. Courage because we figured that exposing yourself while trying new dances can be super intimidating, but we all felt that once we've done it, we felt empowered and more courageous in a way, and also a bit happy with ourselves maybe. And we want to inspire people to grow themselves, because we believe that you actually have to leave your comfort zone in order to grow. So we did that every time, and recorded ourselves while doing it. And yeah, the message that we have is basically grow and don't take yourself too seriously while doing so, and allow yourself mistakes and laugh about yourself. And connect, because nothing really connects like dancing. And we felt that we made so many new contacts, and also broke with some stereotypes. Like, for example, it's a bit hard. We did a pole dance session, recorded it, and there's a lot of stereotypes around pole dancing, and we learned that it's actually not about that at all, but it's a really hard sport. And so that is the creed and core values that we defined. Next one. For revenue streams, I mean, we also know, as the other presenters said, that we have to grow our community a bit more in order to really establish revenue streams. But once we have done so, we think we could go with the presented ones gradually. So start with some sponsored videos. For example, we thought about partnering up with travel agencies and do dances from various destinations, so we could show them where we are, and maybe even merge with the culture that they have. And then through this fun aspect, advertise these agencies. We can also, of course, once we have a community, do merch for different dance styles, because we have a broad variety of target audiences with all the dances we touch upon. And then probably finally, it could be an option to do traditional media spin-offs, such as our own version, or participating in something like Dancing with the Stars. Yeah. Partnerships, we partnered with 639 News and with the study trip committee Solo, and both partnerships really broadened our exposure to potential viewers. And with 639 News, we were more like guests in the video, so we were probably more like a client. So the value that was added there for us was more like broaden exposure to potential viewers. Whereas with the Soul team, the additional value that was added to our channel was that we also could learn about another culture, namely the South Korean culture and the country, through this dancing, which we also always try to integrate when we try to teach our viewers about the dances that we tried. But this is, even more value, because you have the whole culture behind it.
Hi, this is Jan. Sorry, I don't have the video on. This is working on my phone, so I don't want to hold it up. I'll go next with the co-creational theory. And we as a group thought that conversational fields was most evident, especially right in the beginning, when we just met for the first time as the group. We were in a public library somewhere in the city, and it actually started just as any group work starts with brainstorming. Everyone was throwing ideas in, but it sort of created a brainstorming loop. It was like 2 hours, something that we at some point thought, okay, we are not really reflecting on each other's ideas or respond actually to someone's ideas. And then we said, we sort of went to the next stage of breakdown. We made a cut and we said we need a creative pause, and everyone walked in the library to different corners, and we said we are coming back in 10 minutes. Everyone had to like take in what everyone said before, reflect on it, and after that we created a structured process of reducing the number of ideas that we all liked. So that was sort of a process where we had a large white paper, and we all circled our most liked ideas, and then we sort of reduced the number of ideas that we actually didn't like anymore. And it was still a process where everyone was sort of defending the most liked idea. So everyone had like one most liked idea that you circled, and then you sort of still defended that idea without totally reflecting on others' ideas. But then we moved to the next stage of inquiry, and we were saying that we have to like put ourselves in somebody else's thought process by trying to sort of sell the idea of a team member's most liked idea, so that we actually also reflect on the thoughts of someone else and putting our thoughts into it as well, which also increased the creativity of the ideas that we had. And this actually started the next stage, our last stage, flow, at the space for co-creation, where we didn't really actually remember how it happened, but someone was coming up with a combined like self-creative thinking, including the thought process of someone else's idea, and we were super enthusiastic all about the general dancing idea. And there was a stage where we sort of like saw the bigger picture. We were responding to each other's ideas. We were reflecting on each other's ideas, and combining our own thoughts with the thoughts of someone else that we understood. So that created this whole creative space, which from that point on went through all the weeks that we've been to. We come up with more creative dances than with the partnerships. So that was a process that was very evident within our group. Yeah.
We decided also for the community building, we decided to focus more on the group internally, and we wanted to focus on the psychological sense of community, so PSOC, which is at the end a member's feeling of being part of an interdependent community, and sense of responsibility for the well-being of the group itself and its members. So the PSOC theory is divided in 5. So the membership, so how important the teamwork actually was within the group, and as Jan just mentioned, it was a good beginning because we actually started to work, and how we could come up with an idea. It was just a lot of ideas from different people. Influence, it's more the how do we express the decisions within the team. We had a good communication within the 5 of us, and we were all pretty open in listening to what other people had to say in order to what we had to do next. So which other dances we need to take and what was the best way to achieve this. Integration, since we were all the 5 of us were dancing, we never did that before. It was also, the integration has a more like psychological needs are fulfilled. So the training and recognition and the effort you put in doing the dancing. So all of us could see how much effort we were all putting in this, because we wanted actually to learn how to dance in our case. The shared emotional connection, we actually, I think we had a lot of emotional feelings involved in this, since it was something we never worked on, and it was, as we said, pretty embarrassing for all of us to do something like this. But it showed us we had some experience time of personal joy within the group. We really started appreciating something we never thought we would. And then responsibility, when you're within a group, you have a sense of responsibility towards the other members of the team. We have an example during the tango class, which was our last video. When someone was a bit better in the dancing, this person helped the other ones. So there's a sense of, I need to take care of or help the other people in the team. Next slide. And here's just the atmosphere we wanted to create. I'll just take a couple of them because some of them already been mentioned. We wanted to do some kind of connection and get out of our comfort zone and try new things. And this is, for example, trying to try some really difficult dances that none of us would ever do, I guess, which can be, for example, the pole dancing. And what I'm learning from this is if you don't try, you will never know, because all of us had so much fun in the pole dancing. And as Lotte mentioned, it has this idea of being a sexual thing and easy, let's say, but we actually try it out and we thought it was pretty hard. So we admire all these people doing pole dancing. And also enjoy the moment and not care about other people's judgment, because during the dancing, we also forgot sometimes that there was a camera that Christy was filming. And that also made us just fully enjoy the moment. And a learning from this is that people will always comment on what you do, no matter if it's good or bad. But this shouldn't discourage you to do stuff. Yeah, next slide.
So the main takeaways for us, obviously that's already been mentioned, is to organize growth or to grow, you need to build a community. And to build a community, it's important is the interaction with the community, and interaction is the thing that creates value. So for us, I don't think we really interacted with our sort of audience, but we did how do you say, like what Sophie mentioned, is that it was important for us to sort of build a community for us first and then see how it goes from then on. So why I think our videos were very valuable in the end is that we, what Sophie mentioned as well, is that we had fun. It was sincere, because it was kind of sometimes embarrassing, and sometimes you could really see that it's a very sincere thing that we're doing, and that could be why our videos got views and were sort of fun to watch, because it was very it wasn't, we tried to show all of our colors, and I think for us to even grow further, it would be important to interact with other channels or interact with other communities. As we did the tango dancing and we went to see a community, learn about a community there, what they showed is that you have to sort of choose a channel or an outlet where you want to build that community, and see where your sort of audience is. And yeah, I don't know if I'm making sense here, but for us, what sort of reflecting back, seeing that maybe YouTube isn't the right channel for this kind of thing. Maybe we should have been in other social media channels. For example, TikTok is really big in dancing, and they do a lot of dance challenges. So for us, TikTok maybe would have been like a very obvious or the right choice to actually build something. And building a community, these are the things that the other groups have said already as well, is that giving value to your community is the only way how to grow. And you really have to listen, observe, and reflect on what you're doing, and you have to look at the community, what they want and what they want to sort of see in you. And yeah, so that's the way how to actually grow. Yes. Anyone else wants to add anything?
Oh.
Cool. And this is the last slide, or?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good. Anything more, or time for questions? Questions. Okay. So I actually think that the examples that you're giving in the PSOC are really good. They're concrete and they illustrate the points. I just wanted to point that out. Then let's see, what do I want to say? Oh, okay. So first, you said you did the two collab videos. Actually, you did 3, right? Because you also did the in a way you can say all of your videos is collaboration videos, because you kind of collaborate with the people who show you how to dance. But I'm curious about whether, so you say you there's a potential to get more views through the collab videos. Do you have a sense of whether you actually did get more views?
Well, if not too sure, I have to go look at the analytics, where they come from, the views, but they didn't. They mostly came from the channel, the internal parts. But what I mean is that if we would actually brand the organizations that we were collaborating with. For example, if we would say that we like to move it to collaboration with, what was the name of what was the name of the pole place? Damn.
It was Pole Republic.
Pole Republic, exactly.
Doesn't matter.
Pole Republic. And would sort of really brand Pole Republic there, then they can share it on their, so it would be like different communities coming together.
Yeah.
Right now it was a bit difficult because when we joined the dance classes, there were some people who didn't really, want to be part of the video and so on. So so, and the same with all the other ones.
I think we could have done a better job maybe at advertising ourselves. So basically what happened is that the groups that we collaborated with just posted their videos with us in it, and we could have probably reposted it. We could have linked them and lead them from their channel to ours, but we didn't really do that. So I think there would have been more potential that we just didn't use.
And even the organization that we collaborated with, the Tango Spear and Pole Republic and the Urban Mix, they could have shared it on as well.
Yeah, I'm actually, because with the Tango Sprouts, I know that I didn't see your video appearing on their Facebook group, but that would be absolutely obvious. Actually, I looked and I couldn't even see the video, so I'm not sure if it is in private mode.
No, it should be on now.
It's
it should be on
public now. It was unlisted before,
Okay, cool. Good. Then another thing, I think you're talking about that you moved from, first you had like a lot of brainstorming and stuff like this, and you notice nobody's really engaging with each other's ideas, and then you do this thing and you describe it really nicely. You make the choice. Everybody go to the corner of was it the library or where it was, and sort of sit and reflect. And so you say that this is you move to the breakdown, but I'm not sure that asking people to go to the corners of the library and reflect on things is really going to the breakdown space. In a way, I think it is, so there's the concrete action that you take, like go to the corner, reflect, and then come back again, right? That's the concrete action you take. And you showed that, or saw that kind of works. But then the next thing that you need to do, especially for the paper, is to say, what theory can I use to explain why that worked with? And when you say we move to the breakdown, you are using the theory of the conversational fields. But the move from politeness to breakdown is more about flushing out unspoken tensions, unspoken disagreements. And that might have been part of it, but from what you're telling in the presentation, it sounds more like you were noticing, like when you say everybody's just saying stuff and not reacting to each other. I think the 4-player model is a better theory to explain what's going on. You can say there's a lot of moves. And when you ask people to go to the corners of the library and sit and reflect, it's a way of inviting bystanding. So I think, do you see what I mean? I think it's like, and this is key, so you say there's something concrete you did, and that's what you did. But then when you want to pick a theoretical framework that's that matches, that's good at explaining what you did. And I think the 4-player model in this case would be a better match than the conversational fields. And any comments on that, or do you agree, or do you is there something else to the story?
This is Jan. I do think you might be right, but it's also the case that this was like the first week, so we didn't actually go through the literature to see what kind of model can we use now to do these things. No. So it would have been just on a reflective basis. And when I read literature on the breakdown part, it actually said people start listening to each other and to the ideas, including the own ideas, objectively. So I thought that's also something that we did. We were sitting there and saying objectively, okay, this is not how it should work. It's just give it a pause, and this sort of pause and walking away is not really part of this conversational fields model, but it was just to come back to this model, so that we have this kind of pause, say, because you could just feel in the atmosphere within the team that it didn't go well, and it was like 2 hours. Everyone was tired and sort of
And I totally agree. Like you say, you hadn't read the theory by the time you made the choice to do this. So doing this wasn't a choice based on the theory. And this is the thing. There's like the concrete things that you do, and it might just be done out of intuition. And then there's the theory, and the theory might guide the choices, but the theory can also be applied afterward to say, okay, we did this thing out of intuition and it seemed to work. Can we use the theory to explain why it worked? So, and I think also, like, if we just, I don't know if this was the case, but if like in the beginning people are just voicing their thing and the not listening to the others also was kind of like pushing the other idea away, then you can say it was kind of a breakdown field, but where with the covert opposition, if you remember this. So it's not like directly opposing. It's sort of like, yeah, that's a good idea. And then you just don't follow it, which is like a covert way of opposing.
Yeah.
That way you might have been in the breakdown field, and then inviting bystand is exactly the way that is like one of the leadership moves that you can use to go from the breakdown field to the inquiry field. And that would be another way of explaining what you observed.
Okay, so it could have been sort of the 4-player model explaining the way we moved within the conversational fields. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see that.
Cool.
Good.
Yeah. But
thanks for the feedback.
Sure. And just to follow up on it, it's like, you remember there's a leadership move in each of the fields. Like in the politeness, you invite opposing in order to get to the breakdown. In the breakdown, you invite respecting and bystanding in order to get to the inquiry.
Okay.
Cool. Good. Fantastic. Anybody else have something to say for this? Questions, comments? Cool. Let's go to the polling. Oh, and by the way, I still want to see your video in the Tango Sprout group. And it's nice to think, because then when you post it, like right now, maybe you don't get so many new views. Post it maybe today or something like that, and then look at the statistics. What's the effect? And you can include that in your exam paper. Then you can still get some experience with this. So where do we have you for the polling? We like to move it. And you got 1 minute for the polling. Here we go. (31 out of 45). We need a few more answers. You got 10 seconds. Yeah, 32. 33, slowly coming in. You have to think hard. How was it? Did I interact with this channel? I don't remember. Okay, I think we ended here. End the poll and share the result. So this is the result. Again, do with it what you want. It's just nice to get a little bit of feedback. And maybe you can use it for something in the exam paper. Maybe not, I don't know. So yeah. Cool. Let's see. Next. Have you taken notes or screenshots? Fantastic. Good.